Good afternoon, Dr. Steven Slate. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So we are Republic Reporters. We are based here in New York City. It's online news agency outfit. We just wanted to stop by to thank you for the opportunity given us to stop by to have a little chat with you and regarding the Institute for Mediation and Conflict Resolution, which you are the executive director. When was this program established, sir?
Well, this program was established way back in 1969. It started out as a training institution, and in 1975 it branched out to providing community mediation services in 4 counties in the city of New York.
Okay, and you also taught at Columbia University, also teaching practicum, community mediation, and you being my former professor, at Columbia University, which I'm privileged to, be in this position to interview you and ask you questions. And in terms of the program at IMCR, how would you rate IMCR as its CEO, its director, in terms of its being successful or not actually meeting its goal? Do you think so far?
I would conclude that IMCR has been successful if you were to take a look, for example, at its mission statement, which is one that would prepare us to provide services in Bronx County. And when I talk about services, I'm talking about alternative dispute resolution services in the county, and we have been successfully accomplishing that.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we addressed slightly over 2,000 cases each year.
Wow.
And there is a large percentage of resolution. And what I mean by resolution is that parties are able to arrive at some type of conclusion in terms to the disputes that they bring to us. Some of them conclude by writing up agreements which are implemented over time. And what we do is we would follow up on those agreements to see whether or not they were successful. And more often than not, they are. I mean, we have learned over the years that when parties to a dispute come up with their own solutions, these solutions are more lasting than when someone else imposes those possible solutions.
Okay.
At the center here, we are not really concerned about parties reaching an agreement because in our experience, we have learned that agreements do not necessarily resolve the parties' issues. And there are times when agreements could make the situation worse. So what we want parties to do is to have an opportunity to address their concerns in a non-threatening environment and basically understand their different perspectives in terms of what they view as disputes or conflicts. And they are able to do that here because nowadays we live in a society whereby we're not really talking to each other. And what this center provides is a safe environment in which you can actually do that. Not just talk, but be heard.
Be heard.
And there are times when parties to a dispute just want to be heard. Because outside of these walls, they are not being heard.
That's interesting. Talking about being heard and not just reaching, you're not really concerned about reaching an agreement, but basically people being heard helps them to heal. And that's interesting to understand.
The reason why we are not very much concerned about agreements because oftentimes parties believe that the agreement is the end of the situation. And for us, it's not. An agreement is just a document that spells out what both parties agree to do in the future to make things work. So we don't know how successful that agreement is until it is implemented over time
by the parties.
And then we need to follow up on that to see how successful it was.
So if we were to rate IMCR, you mentioned that so far you have rating that it has been successful.
Yes, and I've clarified what I meant by success also.
Okay. You mentioned that, yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are listening, this is Republic Reporters talking to Dr. Steven Slate here at IMCR. If you are listening, when we're looking at Institute for mediation and conflict resolution. Your agency is a non-for-profit, and it has a global reach. Because if you taught at Columbia University, the house international students coming, participating, I'm sure coming to the center here. How would you rank its international reach?
Well, this is an organization that has an international base.
Even though it's called community-based mediation, even though it's called community-based.
Yes.
Right. Sorry about that.
The organization has provided training to people from all over the world. You mentioned my participation at Columbia University Teachers College.
Yes, sir.
Through ICCR, which is the International Center for Cooperation and Conflict Resolution. I spent 12 years teaching community mediation at the graduate level.
Wow.
And at Columbia University, you have people coming from all over the world.
Yes, absolutely.
So basically, IMCR is recognized, I would say, the world over. We have had students all the way from Australia, from New Zealand, and various European countries.
Yes, sir.
And very recently, we have really extended our services to Central America and also South America. And the advantage that we do have is that we have a training component, and we do train in English and also in Spanish.
Wow.
And after working at Columbia University, we are now providing services at Mercy College in North Bronx.
Okay. Okay.
So that's what we have been doing.
You have a fascinating story to tell. I mean, tell us more about you personally. I mean, you have a family. Originally, you came from Nicaragua. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, what brought you to New York City?
I am Nicaraguan.
Nicaraguan.
And I was born in the city of Bluefields on the eastern coast of Nicaragua. And I spent many years working in the capital city, Managua, as an educator, and practiced or offered services at several universities in the city. I also worked for the military academy under the Somoza regime, and if you recall, there was an uprising in the country in 1979. At the time, I worked for the UNAM, which is the National University in Managua, and I also worked for the military academy. And that's a position you wouldn't want to find yourself, because you are between two extremes. The military on one end, and then the rebels coming out of the university, and I worked for both institutions.
How did you handle that? That must be very challenging.
I don't know if it was challenging. To me, it was a matter of survival. Because the worst place you want to be is in the middle, and you get shot off from both ends. So I don't think I was to die at the time, because I got out of some very difficult situations in the city. And then I remained in the country under the Sandinistas regime until 1983, when the government started to pressure everyone to become part of a militia. That didn't sit well with me, because when I worked at the military academy, even though I had a military rank of captain, I did not wear a uniform. And the Sandinistas wanted to, you to wear, this camouflage suit and whatnot. And that wasn't for me. So I then decided to leave the country, and I came to the United States.
Was your life threatened? Do you think your life was threatened?
Oh, absolutely.
With your family?
Absolutely. I had to flee my home.
Wow.
I was a refugee, at the Catholic seminary for about 18 days.
Wow.
18 days without taking a bath, 18 days without combing your hair.
Oh my gosh.
That was the first time in my life that I had a beard and a mustache.
Wow. Wow.
So I really looked like a gorilla at the time.
So how about your family, your parents? Did you come along with them, or you came just?
No. My wife preceded me. I made sure that she left the country before with the kids. I came over to the U.S. before I did. So I just followed followed suit.
How about your parents? Your parents?
My parents, my father is passed away.
Which year was that?
A few years ago. He was 82.
82.
He passed away 9 years ago.
What's his name?
His name was Cleon Emmanuel Slate.
Cleon Emmanuel Slate.
And my mom is still alive. She is moving towards our 92nd birthday anniversary. And her name is Julie Hudson.
How about Slate? Steven Slate. How do you?
Because my father is Cleon Emmanuel Slate.
Slate. Okay. Gotcha.
My mother is Julia Hudson. Even though she was married to my father, she did not take his last name.
Why?
That is why.
Did you find out why is that?
Because that was our wish.
Wish. Okay. All right. And that was respected.
You don't have to take on.
In this country, you don't have to know. You're right.
You know.
I'm asking you, like I'm asking from my own past worldview, because where I came from, people take up their family name, their husband name, and draw their own parental
you don't want to try
last
that.
name.
You don't want to try that with my mom. My mom is Hudson.
Okay. And children, how many children do you have?
I have 9 kids.
9 kids?
Yes.
Do you have
5 boys and 4 girls.
Wow. They're all grown.
That's not wow.
Oh.
That's 9 kids.
Yeah, exactly. That's a lot.
Yes.
How do you manage to raise them? I mean, that must be in this day and age.
Well, I mean, us men get away with a lot of things. And we usually leave the rearing of the kids to the mom. And then we pretend that we are raising them. That's how it works.
Wow. So do you feel justified?
I don't think there is any justification in having a marital relationship and having kids. What is there to justify?
So do you have grandkids? Are there grandkids?
I have 16 grandchildren.
16 grandchildren. Great.
No, it's a hassle trying to keep up with them.
Keep up with their number, to know how many.
Remember their birthdays.
Wow.
Being there for them. This is a time of year now when, several of them are graduating from kindergarten.
Wow. That's
junior high, so
high.
You are there. You have to be there. So oftentimes you're traveling from one city to another.
Wow. Are they all in New York City? Or
no.
Scattered across the U.S.?
Well, not really. Don't make it that that extensive.
Okay.
I do have a few of them in New York and some in Florida.
Florida.
And then I have them in Nicaragua also.
Okay.
So you travel from one city to another, and then you visit them. You make sure that they remember you, that you're in their lives, and they know who their grandfather is.
That takes us down to your accomplishments. You've come a long way. You've Columbia University, your agency, you have a staff that you handle. Do you feel pressured? These responsibilities and tasks.
None at all.
How do you do it?
I don't know what you talk about. What you mean by accomplishments? I'm here. I do what I need to do, and that's it.
Oh, okay. Recently we have you here, Dr.Steven Slate. You didn't have PhD before. It seems this came new. I've seen doctor on your name. I would want to say congratulations, sir.
Yeah, thank you. But that is not, in my view, it's not no great accomplishment, really.
Oh.
Because I think it has to do.
Why so?
It has to do with you.
Oh.
And who you are.
Okay.
I learned early on in life that there are a lot of us who do not have an acronym before or after our names, an academic acronym.
Right.
But we are very knowledgeable.
That's right. Absolutely. There's no question about it.
So I don't think that knowledge is circumscribed to academic institutions at all. And so whatever I got from these academic institutions, it's okay.
Oh, it's okay.
Because we live in a society whereby people seek credentials. So you go to these academic institutions and you get your credentials, but the credentials are not greater than who you are. I'm greater than whatever acronym you wanna give me. So I don't look at it as anything grandiose. Now I've learned in academic settings too that the business of academia is business.
Okay.
And that's the reality.
You were in Columbia. You were in Columbia University. The acronym is so important to them. They could be very Columbia could be very snobbish.
It's not only to Columbia University. I mean,
academic institutions, establishments.
It's a cultural thing.
Oh, cultural. Okay.
I worked in colleges in my country for many years, and that wasn't any big thing either.
Oh.
So I didn't look at it as a great accomplishment, because you would say.
Well, to young people like us who got our masters, we seem hungry to follow your footsteps, and other young people out there who look onto you as a role model.
I guess I say that because I've been in the field for a long time. I started teaching from the kindergarten level,
wow,
through every grade level,
wow,
all the way up to undergraduate school,
really?
graduate school,
Right.
postgraduate school. So what else is there? No, I'm in the college, whereby the only acronym I'm going to get is RIP.
What is that? RIP, what is that?
Rest in peace.
Why do you say that?
Because knowledge never ceases. And I'm still learning, I'm still growing. Outside of the college setting, I'm in the world, which is the largest, educational area that you want to find.
Right, okay.
And I'm still learning. And my graduation is going to be my demise. And the acronym that I will have is RIP.
Why do you say that?
Because it's rest in peace.
Why would you, is that?
Because that's going to be the end of my knowledge basis.
Yeah, but people, some people in some certain, sectors of society sees life as a transition.
I thought that this interview had to do with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not you comparing me with others.
No, not at all. I'm not.
Because right now, you seem to be struggling with what I'm saying.
No, I'm not at all.
All I'm doing is sharing.
Absolutely, and I respect that. I guess it's more like a conversation, but I also want some clarification. That. Okay.
I hear that.
Okay. So
I am sharing my experience with you.
Okay.
My worldview with you.
Sure.
And you are struggling with that.
No, I'm not struggling with it, not at all.
And challenging it.
No, I'm not even challenging it.
Because you're saying why this and why that.
No, I'm just saying if you could explain further.
Why do you say that? That's what I hear.
Okay, I guess my semantics, I used the wrong, maybe young terminology. I would have said, could you tell me more? That would have maybe helped out instead of me looking.
And I would have said, what more is there to say?
Oh, okay. All right. And this PhD program is from which school? From which institution?
It's the Graduate Theological Foundation.
Where is it located?
It's in South Bend, Indiana.
South Bend, Indiana. What would you tell young people out there about IMCR, your career, your personality, your person, the current acronym, the PhD program or doctor status, which even though it doesn't mean much to you, but to greater population out there, it means a lot. To the establishment that we live in, which is New York City, or academia community. It's a huge accomplishment from my understanding.
Well,
so what are you going to tell people out there, young people out there who are aspiring?
Well, for individuals who aspire to have these, to reach academic excellence, for example, or have acronym before or after their names, all I say, go for it.
Okay, go for it.
Go for it. I don't want to be rehashing things by saying, the sky is the limit. But in reality, whatever it is you want to accomplish, you can accomplish if you just set your mind to doing that.
Okay.
And you should not be pressured by time. Because once time gets in the way, then all types of excuses will surface, which will make it difficult for you to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here.
Never underestimate yourself.
Underestimate yourself. All right.
Never.
Okay.
Tell yourself negative stories about yourself.
Okay.
To yourself.
To yourself, by yourself, to yourself. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are listening, the public reporters here in New York City with Dr.Steven Slate, Executive Director, Institute for Mediation and Conflict Resolution, based here in New York City. So, if I'm not I'm struggling, what's the feeling? How do you feel?
Alive.
Yeah, I mean, you feel alive.
What's this question? How do you feel?
Feeling as to have been able to finish, even though you say you don't want to be timed,
Well,
you don't want to put pressure on yourself.
Okay,
But at the end of the day,
I'll tell you
it's a milestone that has been accomplished. There has to be a feeling.
Yes,
There has to be some form of gratification. I don't know.
It's a milestone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a milestone, but I guess what I'm saying is that in spite of the fact that it represents a milestone, it's not the end.
Oh, sure. Of course
One
it's not.
continues to grow.
Oh, okay.
And first of all, I know that I don't know everything there is to be known. So I'm not caught up in that. So I am humbler today because, I mean, with knowledge, I mean, comes humility.
Absolutely.
This recognition that, you did not create the heavens and the earth and you did not do so in 2 days.
Yes,
I mean, there is a lot out there to be learned. When you talk about feelings, the feelings I recall was not about me reaching what you call this milestone, but to see a certain reflection of pride in my daughter's faces. They were there for the ceremony, and I saw them aglow. They felt glowing. They were great.
Even me, I told you when I came here, I told you this.
They were exuding some sense of pride, accomplishment, that their father, I mean, was able to do that.
To do this,
which was a very strong message for them. In that, what I was saying, look, it's never too late.
It's never too late. It's never too late.
Whatever you want to accomplish, you can accomplish. You have what it takes to make a difference in your lives. Just go right ahead and make that difference.
So, yeah.
And one of them decided to get her master's degree.
Okay.
So, and I didn't tell this person to go ahead, but they might have just looked back and said, wait a minute, if Daddy O could do that,
I can do it too.
I can do it too, and I have more time than Daddy to accomplish that. So that's it.
Amazing.
But personally,
yes.
it was just something I decided to do, and then that was it.
And you did it.
Yeah.
You did it.
I never doubted that I had what it took to accomplish that.
So, your agency, IMCR, getting back to the agency, IMCR, does that reflect anything on your status at IMCR?
Well, I think it's the other way around.
Oh, okay.
I think that by being here at the helm,
okay,
and someone with this certification, this invisible certification, this invisible umbrella,
right,
would benefit the organization.
Okay.
A great deal.
In what way?
Because, well, now you are dealing with a doctor of mediation, for example.
There you go.
And this center is about providing mediation to the community. So in that regards.
So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It is a good thing. That's why we are excited. And I'm sure that's why your kids, your children, we are glowing. It's a good thing that makes them feel that way, that pride. My daddy accomplished it. If daddy can do it, I can do it. And they went on as someone with masters and...
However, I remain the same. I'm the same guy.
Absolutely. But remember that you are a leader. A lot of people look onto you. And when they see this, you are an inspiration to other people. Is there any message you want to give to those you've trained who are across the globe? Many of them are in South Africa, some of them are in Russia, India, who has need to set up their own agencies, who might be struggling in one way or the other, even though they might not be able to tell you. Sometimes we struggle in life as human beings, and that makes us intelligent and that makes us grow. Is there anything that you would want to tell some of your trainees who were here many years ago, or who still continue to come and register to gain training under your leadership?
Well, basically what I've learned in life is that whatever you want to accomplish, you can accomplish. If you use that as your true north, and you keep steadfast to your north, you will eventually arrive. Just don't pressure yourself.
Not pressure yourself.
Just don't shy away from obstacles. Oftentimes they make you stronger. So, I'd simply say, you want it, go for it.
You want to get it for the ladies and gentlemen, reporters right here. Dr. Steven Slate, speaking to reporters. We're deeply grateful, sir, for talking to us. Is there anything that we are missing, anything that you want to tell the general public out there about IMC that I didn't touch, that we didn't touch?
No, I think that it was basically covered. I think that, we covered what was mostly relevant to the public. We are an established organization, a pioneer in the city of New York.
Okay.
And we have been providing our services since 1969.
1969, that's a long time.
We look forward, time is relative, and we look forward to continuing providing our services.
Do you plan expansion in terms of opening new offices? And if that is the case, how do you fund them? How do you generate your funds?
Well, we are funded by the city and the state of New York.
Okay.
In terms of expansion, well, that's not up to me, the executive director. That will be up to the board of directors. And right now, we have a very enthusiastic board of directors, and they are the ones that set the tone. They set the direction for this organization.
Okay.
If I am called in, for my opinion or suggestions or whatnot, then I'll just do that.
Okay.
But I, on my own, I don't make that type of decision. My decisions are basically administrative.
Do you keep data of those that you train? Are there data of those since 1969? Data to us, to those who have finished?
Now, not 1969.
Okay.
I began to provide training in 1993. This is my 20th year.
Wow, 20th.
And I do have a record of trainees.
Okay.
The folks that I've trained.
Do you keep in touch with them?
November 1993.
93.
I don't personally reach out to them, but I'm available to them. And I have had trainees from European countries that would contact me from time to time, ask questions about certain things. Some of them are providing training in the field and would like to know what's available to them out there. And then I would just give them information.
Sure.
So I haven't kept in touch with each and every trainee. But what I find laughable sometimes is at the end of a workshop, you have trainees share their email addresses and whatnot and phone numbers, and then they talk about the possibility of having a class reunion. But I've never heard of one really taking place, and most definitely I've never been invited to one. So I really don't know.
Are there things that you regret in life? That
I have no regrets.
No
I've
regrets,
made lots of mistakes in life. And I've learned from those mistakes. So I'm not afraid of making mistakes. So what is there to regret? I don't regret anything.
What is your best moment in life?
I don't know if it's about best moment in life. The
the
best that could ever happen to me is life itself.
Life itself.
But to go for a specific moment, I guess it would be when I started to breed on my own.
To be independent, have your own agency, and
I'm talking about when I came out of my mother's womb.
Okay, all right.
And took my first breath.
Well, we didn't want you were like